if your manhood isn't working the way you remember, if your mornings have become disappointingly quiet, your confidence is slipping, and you're tired of pretending it doesn't bother you, then I need you to listen very closely. Because what I'm about to share may surprise you. It might even shock you. You see, after treating thousands of men over the age of 60, I've discovered that the single most overlooked root cause of weak erections is not low testosterone. It's poor blood flow. And the fix? It's not a blue pill, an expensive device, or even a supplement. In fact, it's a humble, powerful vegetable that you can eat every morning, and within days, your circulation, your energy, and your manhood can begin to return. I'm a board-certified men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience helping older men regain their strength, confidence, and intimate vitality. In today's video, I'm going to give you a simple, actionable blueprint based on a powerful, natural solution, backed by science, trusted by real patients, and easily available in every grocery store. Because when you start your morning with this one food, everything can change. Blood pressure stabilizes, nitric oxide levels rise, and oxygen-rich blood flows exactly where it's needed, including down there. Most men have never been told this. That's why I urge you to stay with me until the very end. I'll explain exactly how it works, the best way to use it, and why a remarkable number of men start to see and feel a real difference in as little as 7 days. Before we get to the specific vegetable, do 2 quick things. First, hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. This channel is dedicated to giving you science-backed, no-nonsense tips to reclaim your strength. Second, if this message speaks to you, just type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0, so I know how to serve you better. Now, let's begin with the real reason so many men over 60 struggle with weaker erections, and why it has far more to do with blood flow than with testosterone. 1. The forgotten reason erections weaken after 60. Let's begin with a fundamental truth that most men never hear, not from their doctor, not from their friends, and certainly not from TV commercials. And yet, it's one of the most important truths I've learned over my 3 decades as a men's health physician. Erections don't just fade after 60 because you're getting older. That's the myth. The real reason? Your blood simply isn't moving the way it used to. I've had countless men sit across from me. Good men, strong men, men who've worked hard their whole lives and feel like their own body is betraying them. They look me in the eye and say, "Doc, I think I'm just past my prime." And I look right back and tell them the same thing every time. No, you're not. Your prime isn't something you lose. It's something you uncover. It's your circulation that's been neglected, not your manhood. Think of it this way. Your ability to get and maintain an erection depends on one simple hydraulic system in your body: blood flow. More specifically, the flow of oxygen-rich blood into the tiny vessels of your penis. And that entire system is powered by a master molecule your body produces naturally, something called nitric oxide. When you were younger, your nitric oxide levels were high. That's why everything worked so quickly and easily, often without much effort at all. But after 60, your natural production of nitric oxide can plummet, sometimes by more than 70%. Your arteries begin to stiffen. The inner lining of your blood vessels, called the endothelium, becomes less responsive. As a result, the surge of blood that once filled your penis like a balloon is now more of a trickle. You are not broken. Your body is just asking for help. And here's the part that hits home for so many of my patients. This physical change doesn't just affect your performance. It affects your confidence, your sense of self, even your emotional connection with your partner. The worst part? Most men are never told this is fixable, but it absolutely is, and it can be done in a far more natural, sustainable way than you might think. Because, believe it or not, there's a simple vegetable, one you can eat every morning, that helps your body rebuild nitric oxide and restart the engine that drives your erections, energy, and circulation. And in the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly what that vegetable is and why it's far more powerful than most pills on the market. 2. The one vegetable that rebuilds circulation. When I first discovered the power of this particular vegetable, I'll admit I was skeptical. Not because I don't believe in food as medicine, but because it just seemed too simple. Could something so ordinary, so earthy, really make a fundamental difference in how blood flows to the most vital parts of a man's body? But then I started seeing the results in my practice, and I wasn't the only one. My patients, men in their late 60s, 70s, and even early 80s, were coming back after just a few weeks of this one change, saying things like, "Doc, I woke up firm again for the first time in years," or, "For the first time in months, I felt ready, like I used to." And all they had done was add this one food to their morning routine. The vegetable I'm talking about is beetroot. Yes, beets, the deep red root that often gets pushed aside on dinner plates. But hidden inside that humble vegetable is a compound your aging body is often starved of, dietary nitrate. When you eat beets, your body converts those nitrates into nitric oxide, the very same gas that tells your arteries to relax, open up, and allow blood to flow freely. The effect is remarkably targeted. Increased blood flow doesn't just help your heart. It improves circulation to your pelvic region, including the sponge-like tissue inside your penis that fills during arousal. For older men, this is everything. You're not just improving your ability to get an erection. You're feeding the very system that supports vitality and confidence. Let me share one story that I'll never forget. A 71-year-old retired engineer hadn't had a full erection in over a year. We made one simple change. He started each morning with a glass of fresh beet juice, just 6 ounces. By week 2, he called me, his voice thick with emotion, and said, "Doc, I feel like myself again." That single moment solidified for me that this wasn't just theory, it was real. 3. The nitrate to nitric oxide pathway. What happens in your body? Now, you might be wondering, how can something as simple as a beet actually help restore the blood flow you had when you were younger? Once you understand the elegant process happening inside your body, it all starts to make sense. It's like watching a quiet miracle unfold right beneath the surface. When you eat beets, you're giving your body a direct source of dietary nitrates. Think of these nitrates as the key and nitric oxide as the master signal that unlocks your circulation. For years, your body may have been missing that key. The journey is fascinating. It begins in your mouth. As you chew the beet, beneficial bacteria on your tongue begin converting the nitrates into nitrites. Then, as you swallow, your stomach acid and bloodstream continue that process, finally turning those nitrites into usable nitric oxide. Within minutes, you may feel a lightness, a sense of better oxygenation. Over time, with consistency, this leads to stronger blood flow, not just to your heart and brain, but to your lower body. I've had proud, stoic men tell me, "Doc, I thought I was done. I thought the best part of life was behind me." But after 2 weeks of a morning beet juice ritual, they're calling back with a new energy in their voice, telling me they feel sharper and, yes, more responsive in intimate moments. It's not just about sex. It's about identity. It's about waking up and knowing your body still listens to you. And here's something even more exciting. Beets play both offense and defense. They don't just help restore blood flow. They contain antioxidants that help protect your blood vessels from damage, reduce inflammation, and can even help lower blood pressure over time. They're not just fixing one problem. They're strengthening your entire cardiovascular foundation. But for all this to work, you need to know how to use beets the right way. The timing, the method, even what you eat with them can make or break your results. So let me show you exactly how to make beets part of your morning and how to get the absolute most from every bite. 4. Real results, real men. A story of hope? There's something incredibly powerful about seeing science come to life, not just in clinical trials, but in real people. I can tell you with absolute honesty, some of the most rewarding moments of my career have been hearing the quiet hope return to a man's voice when he simply says, "Doc, it's working." Let me share a specific story that I hope resonates with you. A 67-year-old retired teacher came to see me. He was soft-spoken, proud, but clearly weighed down by a private struggle. He told me he hadn't had a full, natural erection in over 8 months. No morning stiffness, no arousal that felt complete. It was affecting his marriage, but more than that, it was changing how he saw himself. He said, "I feel like my body's betraying me, and I don't know how to fight back." We talked about blood flow, nitric oxide, and the role of diet. I suggested something simple. I asked him to start his mornings with half a cup of fresh beet juice. That was it. No prescriptions, no pressure, just a quiet commitment to himself. After about 2 weeks, he called my office. His voice was lighter, almost surprised. He said, "Doc, I woke up this morning, and it was there. Not weak, not partial. Solid, and I didn't need anything extra to make it happen." I could hear the pride returning in his voice, the dignity. It wasn't just about performance. It was about wholeness. He felt alive again. His story is not unique. I've seen this play out time and again in plumbers, accountants, veterans, pastors, men from all walks of life who thought their best years were behind them, only to find that their bodies still had more to give. What I want you to hear is this: you are not beyond help. Your body hasn't given up on you. It's just waiting for the right signal. And when that signal comes from something as simple as a glass of beet juice, it reminds us just how intelligent and resilient the male body truly is. But as I said, it's not just about the beet itself. It's about how and when you use it. 5. The Pro Guide: How and When to Use Beets for Maximum Results. This brings us to the most practical part of our conversation. In my years of practice, I've learned that a good remedy can fail without the right strategy. Timing and consistency make all the difference. You can have the right food and the best intentions, but if you use them the wrong way, you won't get the results your body is capable of. That's especially true with beets. Now, I know some men get overwhelmed when they hear about a new routine, but the way to get the most out of beets is incredibly simple. The morning, especially on an empty stomach, is your golden window for absorption and conversion. Taking them first thing allows your body to convert those precious nitrates into nitric oxide far more efficiently. The difference in response, compared to taking them later, is night and day. Here's what I recommend. Start with half a cup of roasted beet slices, or blend 1 small raw beet into a morning smoothie with some berries. For those who prefer convenience, a scoop of high-quality organic beetroot powder in warm water can work just as well. You don't need much. Consistency is what matters. Now, here is a crucial detail that most people miss. Do not brush your teeth or use mouthwash for at least 30 minutes before or after consuming your beets. I know it sounds strange, but the friendly bacteria on your tongue are essential for starting the nitrate to nitric oxide conversion process. If you use strong mouthwash or brush too soon, you can block the very reaction your body needs. It's small details like this that turn a good habit into a great one. But as powerful as beets are, they need the right environment to work. Unfortunately, many men unknowingly sabotage their results by combining them with the wrong foods. In the next part, I'll show you exactly what to avoid and the surprising breakfast mistakes that may be holding you back. 6. The morning saboteurs: What not to eat for better erections. It's easy to get excited about what to add to your routine: the beet juice, the sunlight, the circulation boosters. But over my decades in practice, I've learned a critical lesson. What you remove from your mornings can be just as powerful, if not more so, than what you include. I've had patients come to me saying, "Doc, I'm drinking the beet juice like you said, but the results aren't there." And almost every time after a quick dietary review, we find the culprit. Their breakfast habits are quietly sabotaging their efforts. Foods they thought were harmless were actually narrowing their arteries, inflaming their blood vessels, and blunting the very nitric oxide boost we were trying to achieve. Let's name the 3 biggest offenders. Offender number 1, processed breakfast meats. Bacon, sausage, and deli ham are loaded with sodium and preservatives that constrict blood vessels and directly reduce circulation to your pelvic region. Offender number 2, refined carbs and sugar. White toast, muffins, pastries, and sugary cereals spike your insulin and crash your hormones, including testosterone. Offender number 3, too much caffeine on an empty stomach. This can increase cortisol, your body's main stress hormone, which tightens blood vessels and makes physical arousal more difficult. Now let me be clear, I'm not the food police. This isn't about never enjoying those foods again. But if you are serious about restoring your manhood and giving your body a real fighting chance, then that first meal of the day needs to be dedicated to healing, not blocking it. Instead of processed meats, reach for a boiled egg or a small handful of nuts. Instead of sugary toast, try a slice of avocado on whole grain bread. These kinds of smart swaps pair beautifully with beets. They provide healthy fats and minerals that nourish your blood vessels and support hormonal balance. When you make that shift, removing what clogs your system and replacing it with foods that protect it, your body responds. The blood flows. The warmth returns. And for many men, that first natural erection after weeks or months feels like life itself, breathing back into their sense of identity. But timing isn't just about food, it's about biology. There's a reason I recommend doing all of this in the morning, because something powerful happens in your body each morning that makes this the perfect window to rebuild your strength. And in the next part, I'll show you exactly why the timing of your morning habits could change everything. 7. Why the morning is your golden window. Over the years, I've noticed something powerful about the men who commit to these morning habits, especially those over 60. It's not just that their bodies respond better, though that's certainly true. It's that the mornings become a quiet turning point, a daily act of reclaiming their vitality. It becomes a moment where, instead of letting the day dictate how they feel, they choose to set the tone with strength and purpose. Biologically, morning is a golden window for male health. Your testosterone levels are at their daily peak, meaning your body is more responsive to stimulation. Your blood pressure tends to be slightly elevated, which primes your circulatory system for action if you give it the right support. When you consume nitrate-rich foods like beets on an empty stomach, your body is far more efficient at converting them into nitric oxide. That gas tells your blood vessels to relax and expand, opening the gates for blood to reach every corner of your body, including the places that define your intimacy. But there's something deeper. When a man begins his morning with intention, choosing to nourish himself instead of grabbing something processed, he begins to reclaim control. It's a psychological shift from being a passenger in his own body to being the pilot. I remember a 72-year-old former Marine who told me, "I don't want a shortcut. I want a mission, a reason to wake up and fight for my body again." We started small, a glass of beet juice, a 10-minute walk. Within weeks, he wasn't just having better circulation. He was sleeping better, laughing more, and showing up differently in his marriage. Morning routines don't just heal the body, they anchor the man. 8. Your timeline for results. What to realistically expect. One of the most common questions I get is this: "Doc, be straight with me. How long until I actually feel something?" It's a fair question. When you've gone years feeling like your body is letting you down, It's hard to believe something so simple can spark real change. And yet, I've seen it happen time and time again. In the first few days, most men notice something subtle, a little more color in their face, slightly better focus, an easier time getting out of bed. That's the beginning of your circulatory system waking up. By day 4 or 5, the nitric oxide boost starts to build. You may feel warmer hands and feet. Some men feel lighter, like their body isn't working so hard just to get through the day. Then comes day 7. This is where things get interesting. Many patients have reported waking up with their first spontaneous morning erection in months. No medication, no external stimulation, just the natural result of blood finally reaching where it needs to go. It's not just the physical response, it's the emotional lift that follows. That quiet, powerful thought, I'm back. By the 2-week mark, many men begin to see more measurable improvements, stronger responses to touch, more consistent energy, even lower blood pressure in some cases. And if you stay consistent for a full 30 days, it becomes more than a temporary change. It becomes your new foundation. The key is not perfection, it's consistency. This isn't just about erections. You're supporting your long-term vascular health, the very system that powers your brain, protects your heart, and keeps your manhood alive for years to come. 9. More than a routine. Reclaiming your identity. There's something sacred about the quiet of the morning, before the noise and distractions of the day settle in. For many of the men I work with, those early hours become more than just a time to eat or take a walk. They become a moment to reconnect, to remember who they are, to take back something they thought was lost, their masculinity. Now, I'm not talking about masculinity in the loud, performative way society often portrays it. I'm talking about the quiet strength, the grounded confidence, the calm, knowing that your body still works, that it's still yours, and that you can still rise. Your turning point. A final word on strength and identity. For so many of my older patients, building a morning ritual around something as simple as drinking beet juice becomes a true turning point. It's no longer just about improving circulation or getting firmer erections, though those things absolutely matter. It becomes a daily act of self-respect. Nourishing your body first thing in the morning is a nonverbal declaration that says, I still care, I'm still fighting for me. And that message, spoken not in words but in consistent action, starts to reshape your mindset from the inside out. I remember one man in particular, a 74-year-old widower who had spent the last few years in what he called a quiet retreat. He rarely went out and didn't feel like himself, but he committed to the morning habit. After 3 weeks, he told me, with a clarity in his voice I hadn't heard before, I feel like I've woken up. Not just physically, but something deeper. That's the transformation we're talking about here, because truthfully, this isn't just about erections, it's about identity. When you start your day with intention and with care, your body begins to trust you again. And in that trust, healing begins. If you are still here with me, I want to speak directly to you, not just as a clinician, but as someone who's walked beside thousands of men just like you. Men who've carried quiet shame, silent frustration, or a growing sense of disconnection from their own bodies. Men who've tried to laugh it off or simply accept that this is just how aging works. But I am here to tell you, with every bit of my professional conviction, that this narrative of inevitable decline is not your destiny. The truth is, your body is still listening. Still capable of change, even if the world has stopped expecting it of you. Sometimes all it takes is one small, steady act of care to begin that ripple effect of healing. I don't share these stories because they're rare. I share them because they are possible. If you're willing to take that first step, not for anyone else, but for yourself, then this simple habit could mark the beginning of you writing a new chapter for your life. One where you stop managing symptoms and start reclaiming control. Let me be clear, this is more than a routine. It's a mindset, Every time you drink that beet juice, you're sending a message to your heart, your hormones, and your manhood. I'm still here, and I still matter. So ask yourself, what would it feel like to wake up with energy again, to look in the mirror and feel connected to your body, to know that the changes you're making are not temporary fixes, but real, lasting steps toward the man you want to be? You have seen the science and the steps. Now, the rest is up to you. So, let's bring it all home. Over the last few minutes, we've gone on a journey together. You've learned the fundamental truth that for many men over 60, weaker erections aren't just about testosterone, but about circulation. You've discovered that beetroot, a simple vegetable, has the power to help reignite nitric oxide production. You've seen how real men have experienced profound changes, how morning is your golden window, and how some foods can unknowingly sabotage your progress. We've talked about building a ritual that not only supports your body, but helps reclaim your masculinity from the inside out. You've seen the realistic timeline for results, and you've heard my deep belief in your body's potential to feel strong, capable, and fully alive again. So here's what I want to leave you with. Don't wait for a better moment. Don't wait for more motivation. The time for more research is over. You have everything you need to begin right now. The knowledge, the tools, and the choice. One small act, repeated each morning, can build a rhythm of healing that touches every part of your life. It fuels your energy, your confidence, your relationships, and your sense of identity as a man. No matter how many years you've lived or how long you've felt disconnected, that strong, vital version of you is not a memory. He is still there, waiting for you to call him forward. Beats are just the beginning. Let this be the first morning of the rest of your life. You're not done. Far from it. You're just getting started. If this video spoke to you, if it helped you see your body in a new light or gave you a reason to hope again, I'd be honored if you gave it a like. It lets me know these messages matter and helps others find the support they need. Feel free to share this with a brother, a friend, or someone you care about. You never know whose life you might touch, and your voice matters. Leave a comment below. Type 1 if you're committing to trying this morning routine, or share a piece of your own story. I read these comments personally, and I learn from each of you. Finally, if you want to support this mission of reaching more men with real, honest, and hopeful health content, you can find a donation link below. Every contribution, no matter the size, helps us keep this channel completely ad-free, trustworthy, and focused on what really matters, helping you reclaim your strength one day at a time. Thank you for watching, and thank you for taking your health into your own hands. You're not alone, and you're never too old to start again.